My name is Marlon. I'm here together with Hugo. We are from SiMFE Paraná to present you the case of SiMFE, which is the name of the system that we gave issuer's tax monitoring system, using prescriptive analytics to prevent electronic invoice fraud. Well, first of all, we are from state of Paraná, and for a little bit of context, this is our botanic garden, one of the sightseeing places that you might want to visit when you're in Curitiba, the coldest capital city, so if you go there, don't think you're going to get high temperatures. In centigrades, it's below 0 during the winter, And there we are. We are just south from São Paulo and north from Santa Catarina. We are the 5th largest economy in Brazil, the 4th biggest invoice issuer, and we have a population of 100.6 million inhabitants, which amounts to 5.5% approximately, and we have more than 400K taxpayers. And as not everybody knows what the tax administration do, we decided to answer the question. We are the loved ones by the population and the companies in general that collect the taxes that helps pay public expenditures. How does it work? We have both. We have taxes that affect companies and individuals. All those taxes are collected by us, and then they go to public services. In Paraná, we have a government agency with a special status, which is called the State Revenue Service of Paraná. What are our main responsibilities? We have to monitor. Oh, by the way, sorry. I'd like to thank Teradata for allowing us to show this case here, and especially Natalia and Glauco, Natalia from Teradata and Glauco from the Revenue Coordination, the place we come from, because they started this partnership back in 2011 or 2012, something like that. And that's why we're here today. We have many stories, and this is one more of the successful stories that we have. And of course, I'd like to thank Magali and Giovanni that received us here, and also, I believe he's not here, Mr. Travis Stern, who had lots of patience in helping us produce the presentation. Well, back to the presentation. We monitor and collect these state taxes, ICMS, which is a kind of VAT. IPVA is the VAT. I'll be back soon to explain what it is. The IPVA is a property tax collected on vehicles, and ITCMD is the inheritance tax. Among our responsibilities is to promote voluntary tax compliance. We are not eager to go to the companies and fine them for everything, every step of the way. We want to combat tax evasion and tax avoidance, and to ensure the proper interpretation of the tax law. The impact on society is funding the public services, as I mentioned before, and to promote tax justice and fair competition, because at some times in Brazil, the companies use tax avoidance to get an unfair competitive advantage. So it's not common for you to see, because it's cheaper to pay the fines in the long term than to pay right away. So it's a kind of strategy that it's up to us to try to avoid. And of course, innovating tax governance through automation. Well, our VAT is around $10 billion a year, and it represents 86.3% of the total income. The other two taxes that I mentioned correspond to 11 and 2.5%. And finally, we have general fees that are very little, as you can see. How does a VAT work? Company A sells something to Company B, and then you have there 120 dollars that you should pay for taxes. But this company A didn't sell this product straight to the final consumer. It sells to another company. So VAT, value-added tax, works this way. You have here the same 12% that the first company paid as a debit, but it credits the 120 that was paid in the first round. So this company will pay only $24. The same happens to a company C, and then it goes to the customer. So, summarizing, you have here all the taxes that are paid, they have to be the same of what the citizen in the end of the chain pays. So here you have company C that should pay $292.50, but considering that 144, 24 from here and 120 from here were already paid, they paid only $148.50. This is the boring part of the presentation, and I think it's about to end. Now we are going to get the challenge. Yeah. When you have the credits, you diminish the debit, and the negative total is what the company should pay. Now, what was our first challenge here? Shell companies and illegal tax credits. In the VAT, what is this fraud about? The guy, as you saw in the previous slide, once I send you an invoice, you receive a credit, right? But now imagine that you want the credit to pay less taxes, but you're not interested in my product. So I found a shell company. I send you the invoice. We make an agreement on how much you're going to pay me, but there's no goods involved in it. So it's simply a fraud that there's no real transaction. That's one of the first, that's the first one. Actually, that printer there, because we say this is making money, because at the end of the day, when some companies are receiving this credit, the final impact is that we are really not receiving the tax that should be collected in this whole operation. Why? Because the company simply emits the invoices, it doesn't pay any taxes, and it provides credit for other companies. Here you have the example of the real transaction. Company A sells 1 million in products, 180K in tax credits, to company B. So here you have the product being sent to company B. And after having received the goods, the buyer is entitled to those 180 of credits. What happens in the fraud? You don't have our beautiful truck here. Why? Because Shell Company is only pretending to send something there. I hope this transaction is clear to you, because the difference is we don't have any goods, but company B wants to have that invoice to decrease with this credit the taxes to be paid. So we have two bad guys here: the guy who is issuing the invoices and the guy who is receiving the invoices. The second challenge is when we have real companies and illegal products. This happens because of contraband or counterfeit. There you have the difference between both. But what's most important here? A real company is acquiring products either coming from, for instance, Paraná State has a border with Paraguay and Argentina. And from these two countries, we have products that are much cheaper than in our country. To give you an example, wines are much cheaper in Argentina, and cell phones are much cheaper in Paraguay. So People go there, they buy these products, and then they sell, but as they want to sell to the people and to give a good image, to give an image that, oh, okay, it's all right, they issue an invoice. But what's the problem here? How can you sell 200 cell phones if in your entrance book, your acquisitions, you have only bought 10 cell phones? So that's where we can find the discrepancy and then take action on that. So here the fraud, as I said, is contraband, which are the legal products that enter without paying taxes, or counterfeit that are, for instance, we also have this problem, fake cigarettes that are very bad for health. Well, cigarettes are bad for health anyway, but fake cigarettes are even worse. And this characterizes counterfeit. And then this guy here that bought it, he will issue an invoice to the final consumer. So what was the solution that our teams came up with? The SiMFE, as I said, Sistema de Monitoramento Fiscal de Emissores, or in a free translation, Invoice Issuers Tax Monitoring System. We use the Teradata here as an analytics automation that monitors all electronic invoices issued to identify these frauds, these two frauds that we presented. So every week, we analyze more than 2 million electronic invoices to check if there are any companies that would fit in these frauds to be canceled. And what is this cancellation? The access to the system that issues the invoices is blocked automatically by Teradata Vantage that sends the company registration number to our business application that authorizes or rejects the electronic invoices. Then the question that could happen here is, why 7 days? Why do you wait so long to chase it? Because within 7 days, our regulation says that the company can cancel the invoice. It could have been a mistake, so we are in the limit of the law for the company to do it itself, and then we wouldn't need to take an action on that. So to avoid a false positive here, we run it every 7 days. This is how it works, considering the maps that you guys from IT like. I am the head of the strategic planning, and Diogo is the head of the electronic invoice division. And we are here because our IT boys are too shy to come here and present. But we will convince them next time. And I hope I can do a fairly good job on representing them. Well, here, so everything, all the sources that we have, including the electronic invoice that we received milliseconds after the issuance by the company, are kept here. So we have this OLTP with all transaction systems that are stored in a Teradata OLAP. So, and we use strategy as a front-end information for tax auditors. Why tax auditors if everything happens automatically? We'll be back to that very soon. And then when Vantage performs the rules that we established, it automatically blocks the issuers and sends this sends a notification to the issuer. So here, the steps of what happens. Step 1, execution of a massive data cross-reference electronic invoices, those 200 million that I had mentioned. Step 2, loading target tables. Here you have the rules that has been developed by the division of Diogo that establish limits. We are going to talk a little bit about some of them because all the 11 would be a bit too much. Once the Vantage processes the SQLs, it sends a blacklist to Oracle, and then it goes to Teradata's control tables for our governance. Which are the 5 most important business rules? If you have the maximum of 2 partners, people have studied that frauds don't happen when you have 5, 6, 10 partners in a business. In the last 7 days, the sales are bigger than $15K. That's a number that was established also looking at the past and seeing what's regular. No fire department inspection fee. In Brazil, or at least in Paraná, no company can be open without this fire department authorization. So if they didn't pay the fee, it's a very strong indicative that they shouldn't be open. It doesn't mean that they are not operating or having a regular business, but they are illegal according to the fire department law. Another thing, there's no electric bill received by the company. So who's established there if there's no electronic bill in that local? Or when you divide the sales by the purchases and it results more than 10 times, of course, each and every one of us would like to have a business with 900% profit. But I think we all know that it's quite unlikely to happen. So what this shows us in the tax administration, this company doesn't have the registers of everything that's getting in, so it's selling much more than it buys. So it's another indication that a fraud is being committed there. So the general process flow, we start with the cross-checking of the electronic bills. The invoicing are blocked. Then we send the taxpayer a notice. The taxpayer has the opportunity to appeal, of course, because we can't do it at will. And if there is the approval of the appeal, the electronic invoicing will be reauthorized to this guy. And then the question that might be around your minds is, but what's the accuracy of this process for us to take this chance and let a machine take our decisions? Because this is one of the takeaways here. And here I brought what a friend of us, Aglius, from the 8th Precinct said. We are leaving them inoperative until they prove operational regularity, which rarely happens. As he is one of those guys that has to answer, we could accept that rarely is good. But as I'm the guy that I'm the guy that don't like only, how could I say, non-numerical information, we are going to get to a percentage. And this is how the taxpayer receives and sees his review. Of course, I don't have access to the taxpayer's view, so this is the tax auditor view. Here, he has presented the complaint, and our colleague will simply check in 3 clicks. Here, he will find each line here is a company. He will hit details to check what happened with that company. In this case, this company in the last 6 months sold 220K reais, which is something close to $40,000. And it bought nothing, 0. So within 6 months, I don't buy anything, but I have material to sell. It's a very strong thing. And with this information alone, our colleague could stop searching. But if he wants more information, he clicks there, and he has access to every single invoice issued by that company. So that's why when they receive the notification, they usually don't go forward for an appeal. So, short recap, SiMFE in a nutshell. How the tax administration kills a fraudulent transaction at its source. The seller is identified, as I showed you, as a shell company, or the transaction as contraband or counterfeit. The second point, Vantage sends the seller the notification, the company's VAT registration number, to the invoice application. The invoice application blocks the company and sends them a notification saying you are no longer allowed to issue your invoices. And here is the number. SiMFE has a 93.6% accuracy considering the past 3 years. So it's very good accuracy in our opinion, and it saves a lot of work because the process became totally automatic. So here are our key takeaways and business outcomes. The first takeaway is that we reached the highest level in analytics because we have descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. And even here, it's an automatic decision. We don't have any support. There's no manual support for the decision of the system. And every time it happens, it feeds back the data. Why? Because we need to know that company, for instance, a further step suggested by a friend is to look for the accountants that are responsible for opening these companies. Because some colleagues have already identified that coincidentally, one accountant was responsible for 3 or 4 in a very short time. SiMFE canceled it on Monday. On Tuesday, he opened another one. It canceled next week. It opened another one. So he's probably part of our problem. The second takeaway is that Paraná led the way in this kind of fraud identification, and now other states are coming to us to understand what we have done and how they can replicate it, as our friend here was asking a little bit before the lecture. And this is a quote from our tax enforcement coordinator, the head of the place. SiMFE is an automated action to stop the spread of these fraudulent transactions, reducing tax evasion. And then a second question comes. But how much is this tax evasion? I am also the guy of statistics there, so I don't like to let things just, okay, we reduced the... Of course, it's not a precise number, but we estimate, the estimation here was made considering everything that has been automatically canceled. If all those companies were still open today, the state of Paraná would have lost $3.8 billion in VAT. So it's very significant since this is based on, I believe it's a 3-year period, and you saw that this represents almost 40% of 1 year revenue of this tax. The manual effort was able to cancel during in the period of 2017 to 2021, 168 companies a year, and here in the period after the automation, we were able to cancel 416 companies a year. So that's thanks to prescriptive analytics using advantage of Teradata. And finally, what's next? Which is a common question here. As people were already aware that it would be asked, why not put in the presentation itself? We want to apply machine learning to identify the fraud. what good would that be to us? Probably reduce the frequency with those 7 days that we talked in the middle of the presentation. If machine learning can predict with a fairly good accuracy, this company within 5 days will meet the criteria that you are waiting 7 days, why not cancel it after 2 days of existence? We will probably reduce even more the fraud. And of course, and then for this one, we have many alternatives, but we still want to increase the accuracy that already reached 93.6%. So that's what we, the last part, please don't ask anything to me because that's IT. I am a nerd, no problem in assuming that, but those are IT nerds things. I know something about neural network, but I wouldn't be able to explain the reason it's in this slide. I prefer to be straightforward with you guys.